The crack of rifles echoed across the dusty range, a familiar symphony to anyone who spent time around firearms. But on this particular day, amidst the seasoned shooters and military personnel, one person stood out, not for her marksmanship, but for her task. Her name was Haley, and she was there to change targets. A simple job, really. Walk downrange during a ceasefire, swap out the paper silhouettes riddled with holes for fresh ones, and walk back. It was a role she'd taken on to be closer to the action, to learn by observation, to soak in the disciplined world of professional shooting. She moved with a quiet efficiency, her steps sure on the hard-packed earth. The shooters, a mix of law enforcement and military, were a serious bunch. They were focused, their movements economical, their gazes locked on their objectives. Haley respected that. She kept her head down, did her job, and tried to be invisible. She'd listen to their debriefs, the clipped technical talk of windage, elevation, and groupings. It was a language she was slowly beginning to understand. She wasn't just a target girl. She was a student in a classroom of lead and gunpowder. Among the shooters was a group that commanded a particular aura of respect. Navy SEALs, you could just tell. It wasn't about bravado or flashy gear. It was in their posture, the calm, almost relaxed way they handled their high-end rifles, and the unnerving precision of their shots. Every movement was deliberate, every action had a purpose. They were the silent professionals you read about, and watching them work was like watching a masterclass in skill and discipline. One SEAL, in particular, caught her attention. He was the quietest of the group, his focus absolute. His rifle, a heavily modified piece of precision engineering, seemed like an extension of his own body. He would fire a string of shots, then calmly analyze the results through his scope, making minute adjustments Haley couldn't even comprehend. Each time she went downrange to change his target, the grouping of holes was impossibly tight, a ragged, single-looking tier in the center of the paper. It was awe-inspiring. During one ceasefire, as Haley approached his lane, she noticed he hadn't moved back with the others to reload or hydrate. He was still there, standing by the bench, watching her. It was a little unnerving. Usually the shooters ignored her, lost in their own world of ballistics and breathing techniques. But he was watching her, his expression unreadable behind his sunglasses. She pulled down the used target, a near-perfect cloverleaf pattern punched through its center, and began stapling up a fresh one. As she finished and turned to walk back, he stepped forward. "You've been watching," he said. It wasn't a question. His voice was low and calm. Haley's heart did a little flutter. Was she in trouble? Was she being a distraction? She just nodded, not trusting her voice. "You want to try?" he asked, gesturing Lai with his head toward the rifle resting on the bench. Haley froze. Her mind went blank. Him? A Navy SEAL? Offering her, the target girl, his rifle? A rifle that probably cost more than her car? It felt like a test, or maybe a joke. She looked around. The other SEALs were watching now, their expressions a mix of curiosity and amusement. The pressure was immense. I've never shot anything like that before, she stammered, her hands suddenly feeling clumsy and useless. I just changed the targets. He just smiled, a small, genuine smile that instantly put her at ease. Everyone starts somewhere, he said. Get over here. It was a command, but it was gentle. He wasn't asking, he was inviting. Taking a deep breath, Haley walked the shooting bench. The world seemed to narrow, the sounds of the range fading into a dull hum. This was happening. He began to explain the rifle. Not in a condescending way, but like a professor sharing his passion. He showed her the scope, the bolt, the safety, the trigger. He explained how to lie prone, how to create a stable platform with her body, how to control her breathing. His instructions were clear, concise, and incredibly patient. He adjusted her position, moving her elbow here, her shoulder there, until she was properly aligned with the weapon. The rifle does the work, he explained. Your job is just to be still and breathe. He had her dry fire a few times, just to feel the trigger break. The click echoed loudly in the quiet moment. Good, he said. Now, remember, slow, smooth squeeze. Surprise yourself. He chambered around, the sound of solid, satisfying clack. He stepped back. It's all you. Haley's heart was pounding in her chest. She looked through the scope, and the world magnified. The target, hundreds of yards away, seemed impossibly close. She could see the fibers of the paper. She tried to steady her breathing, remembering his words: inhale, exhale, find the natural pause. Her finger rested on the trigger. The crosshairs danced, a tiny, frantic jitter in tune with her heartbeat. "Settle down," she heard his voice, calm and reassuring, from just behind her. "You got this." She took another breath, let half of it out, and held. The crosshairs steadied on the center of the target. She started to apply pressure to the trigger, a slow, steady squeeze, just like he said. She tried to make it a surprise, but the anticipation was electric. And then boom, the rifle bucked against her shoulder, a powerful but controlled shove. The noise was immense, a physical force that vibrated through her bones. The smell of burnt powder filled the air. Through the scope, for a split second, she saw the target jump. She had completely lost sight of where the bullet went. She pulled her eye away, her ears ringing, her shoulder throbbing slightly. Adrenaline coursed through her veins. "Reload," he said, his voice cutting through the ringing. Haley, still dazed, fumbled with the bolt. He guided her hand, showing her the smooth, practiced motion. Cycle the bolt, eject the spent casing, chamber a new round. The metallic clicks were a stark contrast to the explosion that had just happened. "Again," he said. This time she was a little more prepared. She settled back into position, found her breathing, and located the target in the scope. She saw the first hole. It wasn't in the center, but it was on the paper, a clean, perfect circle. A thrill shot through her. She did it. She actually hit the target. Focusing again, she repeated the process. Breathe, aim, squeeze, boom, another powerful kick. Another reload, boom. After a 5-shot string, he called a halt. "All right, let's see how you did." The ceasefire was called, and this time they walked downrange together. The other SEALs tagged along, their curiosity piqued. Haley felt a strange mix of embarrassment and pride. As they got closer, she could see the paper. 5 holes. They weren't in a tight little group like his, not by a long shot. But they were all there, on the silhouette. The SEAL who had coached her pointed at the target. "See this? For a first time on a rifle you've never touched at this distance? This is good. This is really good." He wasn't just being nice. He pointed out how her group had shifted, explaining what it meant about her form, her trigger pull. He wasn't just letting her shoot, he was teaching her. That day changed everything for Haley. It wasn't just about getting to shoot a cool rifle. It was about being seen. The quiet, professional SEAL hadn't seen a target girl. He'd seen someone with a spark of interest, someone who was paying attention, and he'd decided to fan that spark. He saw potential. That single act of kindness and mentorship opened a door for her. She kept coming to the range, but not just to change targets anymore. She bought her own rifle, a simple, basic model. She practiced the fundamentals the SEAL had taught her. She read books, watched videos, and asked questions. The other shooters, seeing her genuine effort, started offering advice. The range transformed from a place of work into a community. Months turned into a year. Haley's skills grew exponentially, her groups tightened, her confidence soared. She started entering local competitions, holding her own against shooters with years more experience. She never forgot that first lesson, though. The memory of that SEAL's calm voice, his patient instruction, and his simple act of handing over his rifle became her foundation. It was a powerful reminder that expertise isn't just about being the best. It's about being willing to share what you know. It's about recognizing the potential in others and giving them a chance. That one gesture on one ordinary day at the range didn't just teach Haley how to shoot. It taught her the power of mentorship, the importance of community, and that sometimes the most unexpected opportunities come when someone simply steps aside and says, "You want to try?" It's a lesson she carries with her, both on and off the range. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like and subscribe for more.